Christmas entrepreneurs. Today's topic is about inheritance tax again. Number 2, what is the legal successors? It's very important definition under the inheritance tax law, and it will impact your inheritance tax too. So please listen carefully. So let me explain you about the inheritance tax calculation process. When we calculate inheritance tax, we calculate the total amount of inheritance tax for your all asset your mother or father left, and then you allocate the inheritance tax to the individual according to how much each individual receive. So this is the process of calculation. So you have to think about not only the asset you inherited, you have to think about the total asset which is inherited by the others. So, but there is a base exemption for the inheritance tax. So it's not everybody has to pay the inheritance tax. The base deduction is decided according to the number of legal successors. For example, let's say 30 million Japanese yen plus 6 million multiply the number of legal successors become non-taxable amount. So it's the number of legal successors is very important. So who is a legal successors? Your spouse is always become legal successors, and if you have a children, they become legal successor too. And parent, but only if there is no children alive. You don't ancestor doesn't have a children, or ancestor children already passed away, then in that case ancestor parent become legal successors. And brother and sisters, but the priority the third. So on the brother or sisters of ancestor became a legal successor only if there is no children alive and parents already passed away. Only that case. So let me show you by these pictures. The person A is ancestors. Person A passed away, and person A had a spouse and 3 children, but 1 children already passed away, but they the grandson. So when we count the legal successors, there's 1 legal successor and 1 and 1, and this becomes a legal successor too. So in this case there is 4 legal successors. And what happens if there is no children between A and his spouse? Well, his father and mother become a legal successor, and if they already passed away, brother and sister became a legal successor. So in this case, there is 4 legal successors. So the non-taxable amount become 30 million Japanese yen plus 6 million multiplied by 4. So in total, the 54 million Japanese yen is exempted. So that means that if the ancestor left the estate less than the 54 million Japanese yen, well, nobody have to file the tax return. But important point is the number of legal successor does not change even if there is a renouncement of the right of succession. So that means if the children renounce that I don't need any asset, still the children is legal successor. So it doesn't matter whether the person inherit the asset or not. So when you think about the inheritance tax, there is a lot of the exemption and deduction. So you really have to talk with the tax accountant. One example is life insurance. There is 5 million inheritance tax exemption for each legal successors, and the spouse is usually exempted from the inheritance tax, but you have to file the tax return to get the benefit, and exemption for underage, and exemption for the disabled person. And also there is a special calculation for the small residential home, like where you're living. So no tax is applied for the residential home, and the lower tax rate for the apartment to make the real estate income. So the two example to reduce inheritance tax. For example, you can change the cash and to the apartment, because apartment the inheritance tax for the apartment is lower than the tax for the cash. So that's what you can do now. And also you can increase the number of the legal successor by adopting your relatives, but sometimes it confuses the trouble, so just be careful about it. So inheritance tax is one of the most complicated tax return, and depending on the person who calculates the return, that the total tax amount really changes. So I recommend you to talk with tax accountant before you file the tax before the inheritance. Thank you for listening, and thank you for listening our channel this year, and I'd like to see you next year too. See you next time. I hope you enjoyed this channel. If you like it, please subscribe. See you next time.